My name is Thomas Doty, and I'm a native storyteller. And when I was a boy, I'd go with my parents and my grandparents up and down the Rogue River, and we'd go fishing. And every time we'd go past Tillameek Falls, what was called Powerhouse Falls back then, my grandma Maud, the family storyteller, she would say, "That's the old Indians' fishing spot," right? And then a number of years later, as I was starting to be a storyteller, one of my teachers was your good friend, Chuck Jackson. He was the tribal chair of the Cow Creek tribe at the time. And he would tell me about how he used to come up to Tillameek and they'd fish there and they'd do a little private ceremony to honor the salmon people and to try to keep something alive there because, of course, as you know, following the Rogue River War, when it ended 1856, there was no salmon ceremony for quite a while, not the big one like the people remember. Then it wasn't too long after that I got access to John Harrington's field notes, all those 1,500 pages with when he brought your mother and father and your brothers to Tillameek, and he made all those notes and he made those maps, and so I got a pretty good idea of the layout of the village and the story chair, the importance of the story chair, how important it was for the ceremony. And not long after that, on a very cold day in December, this is in the early 80s, my friend Roy and I took off our trousers and put them over our heads, and we waded out through a very cold Rogue River to see if we could find that story chair. And we found a carving in a depression in the rock we thought was the story chair, but we weren't totally sure. And then, of course, it wasn't too many years after that when you started the salmon ceremony on the Applegate. And that was at a time when Tillameek and the land there wasn't available to us. And you did that for years. I came to a lot of those. Chuck came to those too. Remember he played his little parsnip flute when the divers would go down to the river. And then in 2006, Steve Kiesling and you and I, we started talking about this. And I don't know if you remember this night, but December, it was a twilight evening and it was raining like crazy. We were holding an umbrella over the top of you and we were standing on the overlook looking at the falls, and you gave this wonderful prayer of bringing the salmon people back and bringing the salmon ceremony back. And then the next June 2007, the salmon ceremony came home to Tillameek, and you were the keeper of the Sacred Salmon Ceremony, as you still are. So that's my little part in this, I guess, watching from the outside.
It was always amazing to me how the people were boosted up about that ceremony.
Oh, people got very excited about it. And remember that first year? Hundreds of people came.
I know, I was
There were
dumbfounded.
so many people.
How
And
the
we
word
told
spread.
stories and we sang songs and we baked salmon, and everybody was and the divers did their thing, and it was an amazing experience.
Later on, I forgot what year, but the bear dancers heard of it.
Yes.
And finally they came, which was awesome
It
to have
was.
them there and to dance for us in the nighttime by around the big fire. And how that medicine, I told people it worked thousands of years ago, and I said it'll work for everybody here today. And a lot of people, a couple of them that first time got healed with their problems in their body. And so it was a welcome home gathering for our people to have the bear dancers to come.
They came up from California, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
down to out of Ukiah.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they still, I got to go there, I think it's next weekend with them. And they always want me to come, and then they're going to go to Reading, and they want me over there too. And I appreciate them that they have brought their medicine back to the people, because it was awesome how it has helped people over the years. And I always thank God, what a simple gathering it was to be able to help people. And I pray that when they come again, that'll do the same thing.
You know, what struck me was going out there and expecting that the salmon ceremony would bring the salmon back and would heal the salmon people and would heal the river. But in the end, it healed us.
Yes.
Yeah,
It brought people together.
yeah.
And I still, even this year, I want to get somewhere where I can tell people, let's keep the garbage out of the rivers. There's life in that water, and it's our job to stop the garbage. I said, if we get a ticket for on land for throwing something out our car window, that those ships and boats should get tickets for throwing things in the rivers and streams and oceans. It's got to stop. It's terrible, of the garbage. And so I wanted the dams off, and when I started the salmon ceremony in 1993, it was my intention to come back on the rivers doing the salmon ceremony so that people will gather and listen to me tell them that we got to get the dams off of the river. The fish need to swim wild. They don't need those dams. I said, you go look at, I told the commissioner, I said, you go look and see what I see. Garbage piled high, batteries, tires, limbs, you name it, all in those dams. And I said, you look, go see. I said, even around the riparian zone, I said, algae's growing. Do we wait till something dies or someone dies before you do something about it? Because I said, after algae comes mercury. To me, that's scary. And so they finally did. I was standing across the river watching that big ball knock that dam down and just crying and thanking God that it was starting. And I kept telling the fish, hang in there, it's coming down. And so it took 21 years of me doing the salmon ceremonies to get all the dams off of the river. And I just thank God they're still off to this day. And I pray they never go back up.
Well, Aggie, it has been an honor to not just know you and be a good friend, but also to be part of that salmon ceremony and to be there and to witness the change that has happened with the people and the view of the river and just how people now see the river, you know, and I think that's just been
Well, I'm just
honor.
a tool,
Yeah.
you know, but I mind God. And that's the ticket, you know, that God said. And then he gathered the people up, I'm sure. I told everybody that came, I said, nobody tied you up and drug you here. You came on your own free will.
That's
And
true.
so I said, your ears are working because you're heard. And so I said, we're all in this leaky canoe together. And so we got to all work to stop the garbage for the swimmers in the water. And I've been all over the world telling people, it's got to stop. On the Mediterranean, I've ridden on the Amazon and told the natives, stop the garbage everywhere. Rio de Janeiro, all over the world.
Well, I'm going to give my chair back to Tish. I think she's got a few more things to talk to you about. But,
Okay.
but thank you for being here and thank
God
you for all the
bless you,
wonderful
too.
work.
Yeah. You're a good guy. Thank you for what you do.